Welcome to Based on a Book, the podcast that makes incredibly meticulous plans well in advance, but also pulls off the best last-minute ideas ever. I'm your host, Crystal, and once again, I've hurt my own feelings.
I'm Keri, and I still don't know if this is the greatest love story of all time.
And I'm Lindsey, and I'm still a proud, saucy witch.
This is a surprise bonus episode of our reactions to the new Wuthering Heights movie. It's a surprise for our listeners and a surprise for us. We seriously didn't know we were going to do this until about 8 hours ago when we all discovered that somehow the stars aligned and we were all going to get the chance to see this movie today, which never happens. So we're super excited to bring you our thoughts in this bonus episode. Surprise! In our Wuthering Heights episode earlier this month, we read the book and watched 3 already existing adaptations to get a feel for what to expect for Emerald Fennell's new movie. Before we get too spoilery, though, let's reflect on whether this adaptation did what we were hoping it would. Soft spoilers ahead. If you don't know the plot or the characters, maybe stop here. I'll warn you again before we get into specifics of the new movie. Lindsey, in our original Wuthering Heights episode, you said you really needed this new adaptation to be ugly. Did it hit the mark for you?
I'm going to say it was definitely messy.
I can agree with that for sure.
Still could have been uglier. Definitely messy.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And Keri, you really wanted to see the dark vibes of Heathcliff rather than some of the toned down versions of the past. How do you think Jacob Elordi did?
Okay, so to be fair, I just left the movie theater 20 minutes ago.
Yeah.
I just left 20 minutes ago and sat down here to record, so I'm still processing my thoughts on this.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he did terrible as Heathcliff. I think that he has a way of really drawing you as someone watching a film, mm-hmm. To his character, and you pay attention to him when he's in the room, kind of thing. He's also a very big guy, but I feel you feel very drawn to him whenever. I feel like he's a very good actor. That being said, they did some very interesting. They took some creative liberties with Heathcliff's character in this.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't really say that they went the dark route necessarily. They went a route.
They went a route. Okay.
They went a route, not the dark one. I'm trying to keep the spoilers away till we get to the spoilers.
We'll get into
section.
Specifics in a little bit for sure.
Yeah.
What I wanted to see most out of this movie was the second half of the book. A lot of adaptations.
I was thinking that the entire time. I was Crystal's never going to see that second half.
I'm never going to see the second half, and because the second half of the book is it is where things get more into the haunting ghost side of it. We get into a lot more abuse and just rage and hatred and revenge. And I still want to see that. I still really want to see that. We didn't get that this time around.
Yeah,
we still only got the first half of the story. So
when I noticed that the second that the movie started, I was like, we are not getting that second half.
No.
Which I've heard is very I've only watched, one adaptation before this.
Mm-hmm.
But I've heard it is very common for adaptations to stop at a very specific point in the book, which is around a third or a half. I don't want to say too much right now, but if you haven't seen it or read it, but I've heard that that's very common. So I was like, oh, it's one of those adaptations.
Yep.
I mean, also I'm saying adaptation is very loose. Remember whenever I was trying to put in my predictions about
with
this
the
quote
quotes
situation, I was like, throw that out the window, you guys. Throw it out, because that is not the case whatsoever. And adaptation is loose. I would probably say this is inspired by the idea of Wuthering Heights.
Right.
Yes.
Now, with the same character names. That's Yeah, inspired by. Now, it did say, because I was watching the opening credits, and it did say based on the book.
Yes.
So that's what they were going for, but I do want to discuss, before we get into too many spoilers, it has been huge all over my FYP about Margot Robbie's wardrobe and how these particular costumes in this adaptation were not period specific. I just want to jump in, like, because I feel like it's not spoilery. Do you think that those costumes added to the story or the vibes, or distracted from them? I want to start with Lindsey, because I know that you probably paid attention to that.
It was almost distracting. I felt like with all of the changes in setting and wardrobe that they should have just made it more modern, which they didn't really focus on a time frame. You don't really know when this takes place.
Right.
But if they were going to take those creative liberties, it probably should have been a little more modern. It would have made more sense, at least.
Keri, what did you think?
Like, don't get me wrong, the costumes and, like, for everyone is very beautiful. Like, they're stunning.
Yes.
Like, they're absolutely stunning. But, I mean, I felt it was extremely distracting to the point where, like, I mean, I don't want to go too much into the setting, but I mean, I feel like the costumes and the setting kind of correlate with each other, where there was so much, like, almost like symbolism in every little thing, to the point that it was so distracting.
Yeah.
And to the point where it's like, I feel like no one can have, like, a normal conversation in this movie without this, like, you know, the symbolism in the background of every single conversation or every single scene, or, like, just, like, one moment frame. Like, every frame has meaning, and I get that for, like, a specific viewer. Just for me personally, it just didn't feel enjoyable. It felt distracting, where you never, like, no one can just be normal, I guess. That's what I'm trying to say. It's like, no one can just, like, talk and have a conversation, and where everything feels, I don't know what I'm trying to say. Like, and nothing feels like they can't have.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm trying to say.
I feel like the setting,
you know what I mean, you know.
Right. I feel like the settings and the costumes were their own dialogue, and it distracted from the actual conversations and dialogues happening. They were their own characters.
Yes.
And they upstaged the actual actors a lot of the time.
Yeah. I absolutely agree with that. 100%.
And there was a lot of symbolism going on there, and there is an art form to it, but I feel like it definitely upstaged the characters, the real characters.
Yeah. To the point that we were having, like, exact quotes from the story, and I was getting distracted from that because I'm looking at like Margot Robbie looking like Red Riding Hood or like Cruella de Vil. Like, I was like very confused.
I mean, again, freaking gorgeous. She
stunning.
wore those dresses.
Yeah.
Like, girl. But also kind of took me out of the character. So there were quite a few times I was like, damn, Margot Robbie is fine. Instead of, like, look at Catherine, you know, like, you're supposed to be able to forget the actor for a minute. And I
want to say, though, I think Margot Robbie made an incredible Catherine.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And she was the Catherine I've been wanting this entire time.
Absolutely.
And I find it very interesting because I've kind of had little sneak peeks at some reviews. I've tried to stay away from them so I could have, like, a good, you know, opinion to myself going into this. But I really felt like she did a really great Catherine. Like, Catherine being mean, you know, Catherine being selfish. She really dug into that character, and I thought she did an incredible job.
Agreed.
Especially that, like, flipping, like, being sweet and loving in 1 second, and then just crazy, you know, selfish and mean and cruel in the next. It was really great.
Yeah. For sure.
So now let's get into some specifics. We're going to get a little bit more spoilery here. If you plan on going to watch this movie and you don't want to know a ton about the story, here's your chance to back out. You've been warned. I want to talk about specific scenes that were your favorites or that stood out. Lindsey, what you got?
This is by no means a favorite. I cannot stop thinking about it. Heathcliff and Isabella.
Okay, let's talk about it. Let's break that down.
Let's go. Let's
break that down immediately.
I cannot stop thinking basically all of it from the moment they are together alone and he's like, I'm not going to treat you well. I'm doing this as revenge. I'm getting back at Catherine. Are you okay with this? And yeah, from there on,
honestly, Jacob Elordi standing in front of me telling me that he's going to treat me horribly, and like, do I want him to stop? I'd probably be like, no, don't stop. Let's go. That was so hot right up until the moment it got really freaking weird. You know what I mean? Like, it was a hot moment.
Oh, can we talk about just Isabella in general? Like, that character being so completely different.
Yeah.
Just so different.
Yeah.
I just still haven't wrapped my brain around that one, honestly.
Yeah. She is very, like, quirky and just very strange in the movie. And she's not very, like, her personality is not very relevant in the book.
No.
But just, like, her character in the place of Heathcliff's revenge plot, basically, is extremely relevant in the book. But the fact that we are putting her in this important space in the movie is very interesting. I mean, think about the movie in general. They have removed a extremely large amount of characters.
So many
characters. I want to get into that in a second, but specifically, they are focusing on a very small group of people in this very large amount of characters in this book. I mean, when we were reading it, we were talking about how we couldn't even keep the characters straight, you know? And the fact that they're putting this whole personality on a side character who was, I mean, relevant enough, but not to the point of having an entire personality in the story. So we created an entire personality for this character. And then to the point of even rushing it at the end of the movie. Where, like Lindsey just said, being like, well, okay, so now I'm pissed off. So just let you know, you're going to be my whole revenge against Catherine. I'm going to marry you. I don't love you. So you good with that? All right, let's go.
Yeah. I'm going to treat you like shit. Are you okay? You want me to keep going?
Yeah. Like, and then being this whole, we got to talk about it. Being a part of this whole, like, dog situation near the end was wild, because I remember seeing, like, this little clip of it in the trailer, and I was like, what is going on there? And I mean, we all knew that this movie was going to get a little strange,
right,
with Emerald Fennell as the director,
right?
But that part really, I was like, what the hell is going on? And Isabella was, like, behind it. Like, she was, like, a part of it. And then near the end, we kind of she just kind of went off. Like, her story just kind of ends. And
they put her into a carriage. Yeah, she's rushed into a carriage. And that's the last we see of her. That's it.
Yeah. And Heathcliff is, like, mean to her, but like, not to the extent of, like, how the book is.
Right.
I mean, he warned her. I'm not saying it's okay.
Yeah.
But he warned her that these were his intentions. This is what was going to happen. Do you want me to stop?
Yeah. And she was a part of it. Like, she's like, I'll write your letters, and you're going to do this for me. I'll write your letters.
Yep.
Which was...
She had every opportunity to leave in this movie.
Yeah.
And didn't.
Yeah.
So...
The scene that's, like, burned into my brain, and you guys probably know exactly what I'm talking about.
Probably.
Is this Joseph scene, okay? Joseph's character being completely flipped. Joseph in the book is, like, a very, like, religious, older man in the book. And now in the movie, we have him. He is still, like, a servant, but he is now, like, we see him in this. He's younger. He's much younger. And Catherine sees him with a woman, tying this woman up and having sex with her. And Catherine's, like, seeing them through the crack.
with
That
a
was
horse
insane.
bridle.
Yes.
Like, what? Okay.
That was insane. Okay, I'm sorry, but that scene is going to be burned into my brain when Jacob Elordi comes behind her, puts his hand over her mouth and eyes.
Yeah.
I almost died.
Yep.
I almost levitated.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah, that was
also when they're out on the moors and she's finally realizing that she is madly in love with him before she runs off to marry Linton, and he like snatches her up by the front of her corset lacings.
Yes.
Like, oh, holy shit. I had a moment and I was just like, oh, is anyone looking at me in the theater?
Yeah, blushing.
It was, that was hot.
Yeah, that part was good. Yeah.
I think one of the scenes that stands out to me as far as like just amazingly well done is when it's somewhat after that scene is that Catherine is she's at the Heights. She's talking to L&D to Nellie and saying like, Linton has proposed. I said yes. What else was I supposed to do? And she's talking about, but I love Heathcliff. Whatever our souls are made of, his and mine are the same. And she is clearly like, even in that moment, I felt for Catherine, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then like Nellie says something to her about, what will you do? And Catherine just snaps back at her. What do you know about love? You've never loved anyone or been loved by anyone. Just like that fast. Like for half a second, I'm feeling for her. I'm thinking, poor Catherine. Oh my God, this deep, horrible choice that she has to make. And then she just flips on Nellie so fast. And I was like, that bitch, you know? And then Nellie is painted the villain for the rest of the movie for the most part. And honestly, like, what else are you going to do?
Yeah. Honestly, they changed up Nellie's character quite a bit where they had her where she kind of like grew up with them, which is, I don't think was necessarily the case where she was like younger whenever they were first together.
Right. In this one, it almost seemed like they were the same age.
Yeah.
In the very beginning. But then when we see Catherine's character grown, Nellie seems significantly older at that point.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do we know? Also she was like a paid companion, not an actual servant, or not paid companion, but like a bought companion. She was we learned that she's the bastard child of a lord.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also,
can we talk about, I mean, like we said, so many missing characters. This is literally just like Catherine and Heathcliff's story. Like that's the main focus. Yep. So much of the fact that like Edgar feels like so irrelevant. Like he is like driving some of the plot, but like his personality is extremely irrelevant to the point that I think Isabella has more of a personality than Edgar, and Edgar is more important than Isabella. So I find that very strange. But like Heathcliff and Catherine are like the main point of this entire story, and that's the main focus.
Right.
But what I find absolutely insane is, a huge part of Heathcliff's entire backstory and part of the driving factor of his revenge is missing in this entire plot, and that is Hindley.
Yep.
Hindley, his brother, is missing, and they kind of merged his father,
Mr. Earnshaw, and Hindley Earnshaw are kind of the same.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, they like merged these characters, and I think I saw Emerald talking about this, about merging it, because she was talking about how there were so many characters and how it would be difficult in 2 hours putting this together and stuff. But yeah, we don't have a Hindley, we don't have a Francis, obviously, because we don't have a Hindley. We don't have a second half of the book, which is Hareton, Kathy Jr., Linton.
Yeah,
none of those characters. Yeah, none of those characters. I think she said that she named Heathcliff for her brother that died.
I don't
in the
remember
movie. She said that.
I thought that was in the book.
I
It's
don't
mentioned
remember.
like once.
Okay.
Yeah. That's what I'm watching the movie and I was like, wait a minute, was there a
Yeah.
dead brother? Like,
And I thought I remembered Mr. Earnshaw saying it, but it could have been Kathy. But yeah,
Mhm.
I do vaguely remember something like that.
there's no telling.
Maybe.
Yeah.
So do we feel like this movie took inspiration from any of the past versions? Obviously cutting it where they cut off the story is
Mhm.
very similar to a lot of scripts and screenplays of the past. And I feel like combining some of the characters and leaving out like the Linton parents, the original Linton parents,
Didn't
leaving
even
out
have a
Mr.
Mr.
Lockwood.
Lockwood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's all kind of been done before. There was nothing really shocking there.
Yeah, I did see like a side by side of the trailer that was next to the one that you covered, Crystal.
The 1939 with
Yeah.
Laurence Olivier and Margot
Yeah,
Robbie.
that trailer side by side with this trailer for the new one, and it was like very similar. Like they were doing the similar scenes next to each other, so probably taking inspiration from that. I noticed like a lot of like the costumes and stuff like are different scenes, like Gone with the Wind.
I feel like though this is why they're calling it a love story, because they're only telling the first half of the story.
Exactly.
The love part.
Yeah.
And leaving, and honestly, again, this one was like Lindsay said, messy,
Mhm.
but it still wasn't quite as kind of ugly and horrible. I really do think that we got the Catherine we deserved this time around, though.
Yeah. I think it's really funny. I actually saw this with my sister and my mom. And, you know, me and my mom, we both read the book, and my sister had not read the book and she had no idea anything about the story. So she's watching it and she's loving it. She's crying the entire time next to me. And then my mom and I are looking at each other like, come on. Like,
Right.
this is ridiculous. Like, we're like kind of like personally, honestly, overall, I don't necessarily think I enjoyed it that much. Like, especially like this whole, like, at one point I felt like I was in a music video. Like, I felt like we were just like in a montage music video
Yeah.
for a lot of it. And honestly, something I was really excited about is like this like whole like Charlie XCX like soundtrack in it. And I felt like we only played 2 songs that we have already
Right.
heard
Same.
already.
Yep.
And that, like over and over again. And I was like, I don't know if I like this. I was a little disappointed by that. But there was like a point where it was like a montage of all like of the Grange and all like the crazy costumes and the settings for so long. Like I feel like the first bit at the Heights when they were younger to when they got older was like really good. Like even the costumes and everything was really good. The second the Grange came into play, I stopped enjoying the movie.
That's fair.
And then also like the entire montage, like whenever Heathcliff comes back for like his, you know, revenge, like he just left and he's been gone for a really long time. He's coming back to start his revenge against Catherine and like everybody that's done him wrong. He isn't real like he is loves Catherine still, but he's not like hooking up with her. At least we assume he's not in the book.
Right.
But in this movie, there is like a whole compilation of them hooking up constantly, like having sex with each other for a really long time.
Yep.
To the point where I'm just like, okay, this is getting kind of ridiculous.
Right.
But
I want to ask what your thoughts are on the very opening scene with the hanging.
okay, I'm so happy we're talking about this.
Because I don't know what that had anything to do with the story. And I'm still trying to figure that out. Did I miss something? There was nothing like that in the book that I remember. I don't remember ever seeing that in any other adaptation or hearing about it in any other adaptation. And I cannot figure out what it added to the story. Other than the fact that Kathy was there.
Yeah.
So what?
Lindsay, I'll let you go first.
We did get the scene later on when Catherine, Isabella, and Edgar are eating together, and Isabella makes the comment about there being another one, and she asks Catherine if she's excited because of who is being hanged. And then, obviously she's afraid it's Heathcliff because she hasn't heard from him.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, I don't really know why it was there.
Yeah. I don't know either, but all I know is whenever I was like hearing the noises when it was completely dark, I was like, what is going on?
Yep. We all thought
What
that.
am I
Everyone in
about
the
to
theater
see?
thought that. Everyone in the theater thought
Yeah.
that.
What am I about to see?
There's so much sound in this movie that is suggestive, right?
Mhm.
So like we hear the opening scene with the hanging, and we don't see a man hanging right away. We just hear the sounds of someone breathing horribly, and so that of course everyone's like, wait, what are we listening to? Are we already having sex in this movie? And it's definitely not. And then we get like the sounds of like the kneading bread and like the wet sounds all the time, and it like the touching of the eggs and the jello and squishy sounds. It is a very audio heavy.
Yeah.
It's an experience. It's an experience.
Yeah, and even like the skin wall.
The skin wall.
Yeah. There's
and
like
then the hand fireplace mantle.
Yeah.
What was that?
Yeah.
There's
like a whole skin wall that's like made to look like her skin. Yeah. And it's like squishy.
I hated it. I hated that so much.
They're like, look, your mole is right here. He literally said that.
It's so weird.
It was so bizarre. Like it was like in my opinion, for like, cause some people do like that stuff, like watching that kind of stuff. My opinion, it felt too much.
Yeah.
It felt a little too much. Like you said, a little distracting from the story. Yeah.
So like, overall, how do we feel about this one? Is it a yay, a nay? The book's still better? What do we think?
I think the book is still better.
Oh yeah, the book is still better.
Also, I randomly want to say, I'm back. I'm back. I randomly want to say back to the symbolism, because I just like can't get over like how the symbolism was so much in your face. Can we talk like when her dad dies and he's laying there on the ground and there's giant piles of bottles on each side?
Literally what I was thinking about.
I thought they were Christmas trees at first until like focused a little more, and I was like, oh, damn.
Yeah. Yeah, it was like giant piles of bottles on each side because he's an alcoholic. But I was like,
giant.
Yeah. It was like, okay, I got that already. Weird to put it in our like face like this as like an obvious thing.
Right.
But I already got it. So, okay. Yeah, that's just like kind of the things that like really distracted me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to admit, it was almost like comedically large stacks of bottles.
I thought they were Christmas trees.
Yeah. I was like, I laughed out loud a little bit because I was like, what? Okay. Yeah. And there's so much reference to like Christmas. So like this could be a Christmas movie.
It really could. So many Christmas references.
Yeah. It came out in December.
Yeah, it really should have.
That's wild. Well, I guess, unless you guys have any more things that you want to cover while we have the chance. I'm sure we'll talk about this a ton later too.
Yeah, I'll probably just randomly think of things.
We all just saw it, so give us a day or two and let this sit.
Yeah, I'll just be in our own comments, just going away.
Yep. Speaking of comments, I think this is a good place to wrap it up. Thank you for listening or watching if you found us on YouTube. If you like what we've said and you want to hear more, don't forget to follow, subscribe, rate, and review wherever you listen. Our regular episodes drop each Thursday, but you can also find us chatting away on all of our socials all day long. All of our links are in the show notes at the bottom of this page. And we'd really love for you to join the conversation. But until then, be nicer to the staff. We'll see you on the next chapter of Based on a Book. Bye.
Bye.